All right, we're recording. Somebody want to say what we're doing so that at the beginning of the file here, you can know.
We are making Boeuf Bourguignon today. We're going to move on to Pate Choux so we can make éclair with the crème pâtissière that we made last week. And then we're going to finish off with good old Zucchini Mush. Really great name, which I have no idea if there's a real name for it or not.
Hey, Shosh.
Yeah.
Just because, for reasons I don't want to explain, could you text me the link to the video? Well, not to me, but to Maman's phone.
Yes.
Oh no! Oh, never mind then. If your camera isn't overhead.
I can send it.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Is it in a group somewhere?
I
just got Charlotte's email.
It was. Oh, it's in Charlotte's email.
Oh wait, I can send it from the computer.
Thanks.
All right, so there's some onion that you need. The recipe for the 700 grams calls for 60 grams of onion, which isn't a lot. So, you know, I'm going to put in a whole small onion. You can see the size.
I'm going to measure mine because I don't know.
You know, so, you know, again, and, you know, chop it the way you usually do. I don't chop very well at all. I'm somehow unable to make even chops, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I have no idea if it's perspective issues or whatever, but
How big of a chop do you do for this? Just sort of a regular size?
yeah.
Small.
Yeah. It doesn't need, no, because it melts, most of it melts. You don't want it really big and huge and chunky. You want it, you know. So, voila, sort of. Can you see that type, you know, it's pretty uneven for me. I mean, I'm an uneven chopper. So, and then, so you're drying your beef, and then you need some bacon. Bacon. I don't know why my phone isn't. Oh, because you turned it off?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't need a close-up on you opening the bacon package.
No.
Maybe we do. I don't know.
Maybe you.
It can be hard opening a bacon package.
It can be. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do about 5 pieces of bacon.
John, did you use all that bacon this morning?
No. How much do you need?
A little bit. My mom said 5 pieces.
Yeah, 5 or 6. I don't know. Somehow it came out. I don't know. I thought it was taking 5. I have 6, so I'm just using that. Then I sort of cut it down the middle, the lengthwise, and then just chop it into bits. Oh, I'm gonna start, watch, I don't want you to burn yourself, but I'm gonna start heating the pan. I'm doing it in my big, you know, Jose. Do you guys have a bottle of red open?
I have a new bottle of red that I bought specifically for this task.
Well, very good. You might want to open it when you have a chance, or get Adam to open it for you. Just so you have it. But
Yeah, it's funny. I have taken after my mother, and we mostly only drink white. I mostly only drink white wine, and Adam doesn't really drink wine, so we normally don't even like have red in the house, which is sort of ridiculous.
Okay. So you let this heat up. What I do is that I actually put the bacon in and render all the fat. So
Use this or something cheaper?
Is that the one that you got for this?
I got this the other day in case you wanted to use it. We have the bottles.
Use a cheaper bottle. Since we're gonna eat this tomorrow anyways, right? We're gonna eat this tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
But we'll still have wine to drink with it.
Yeah. It's supposed to be really rainy and cold tomorrow, so we're saving this to eat tomorrow.
yeah, so are we. Yeah, I really do. It's certainly edible the day that you make it, but it's so much better the day after, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, there's just something about it just macerating or in the sauce or whatever. It just makes it so much better. And I add the mushrooms the next day, just because it doesn't totally liquefy and since it congeals a little bit overnight, it gives it a little more liquid then and thins it out just a bit. I don't know if that's the science of it. John can actually tell you, but I have no idea. That's the way I do it. You know.
What?
He wasn't even listening, so don't worry about it.
Okay, so, all right.
Want better the next day?
We're gonna do that too. I'm saving it for tomorrow. And tonight,
Yeah.
are you guys are you following this big lasagna thing? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Lasagna thing?
The what?
You know, the woman who did Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, Samin Nosrat, she's hosting like a national lasagna bake tonight.
Oh man, we've been wanting to make lasagna for a while now. We just haven't gotten around to it.
Well, you should tune in at least and see, get jelly with everybody's lasagna.
Yeah.
We don't even have lasagna. I'm making like a baked pasta, but I figure it would be fun to cook along.
Yeah. Hey, bacon time.
Is that just for the fat?
Well, it stays in the stew. Stays in the stew too, but
You take the bacon out though and see the beef.
I think so, pretty sure. That's what that kind was.
So I've got my bacon in and I'm just letting it get all nice and a little bit cooked, yeah?
You want it to melt. Want it to melt and render the fat. And sort of halfway in between, I put in the onions.
halfway in between what?
It's when they're starting to just brown and there's enough fat that's been rendered. I don't know if you can see the,
Yeah.
You want the bacon?
the bacon is half cooked. It's not super crispy or anything like that. It's just starting to brown a little bit and it's rendered some fat. I add the onions. And then they cook together with the bacon.
And then will you take it all like
I will take
out?
it all out and I put it, and then I'll sear and then I'll start searing the beef. But I know you seared all your beef already, Shash.
No, I didn't. We were going to, and then we didn't get around to it, so I'm doing it now.
All right, well, all right, so that's fine. You'll need a little extra butter, just because the bacon never rends enough fat to sear all of your beef. So you'll need a little extra butter. Do that.
So this one is the recipe from Je sais cuisiner, right?
Yep.
This is not your normal store bacon, so.
Plus, like, this beef, you might get a little bit, especially if you're not going to coat it in any starch. It soaks up fat.
If you don't have some beef broth, or in a can or anything like that, you can start making your beef broth now. I'm doing a little more. The recipe calls for 300 milliliters of beef broth of some sort. So I'm doing 350. Just because, and I use the better than bouillon type of stuff. So I just put in about maybe a generous teaspoon into the warm hot water.
Jar.
Only about 300 milligrams, huh? That
Yeah,
seems like
well,
you're just using the wine too, huh?
Yeah, and you use these. Sorry, I wasn't doing this correctly. You use the same amount of wine, so it's equal amounts of wine to bouillon. So.
You reduce the wine at all?
What?
Do you reduce the wine at all?
I didn't hear you.
Do you reduce the wine at all before adding the rest of the liquid?
Nope.
No? Cool.
Nope. It all just goes in and then you just simmer for hours. All right, so my onions and bacon are sort of set in this sense. They're starting, not that much fat is rendering anymore. It's a little sticky at the bottom, so I'm taking out my onions and my lardon or my bacon and just putting them aside. So I'm keeping the temperature relatively hot still. There's some leftovers and things like that in there, but I'm gonna add more butter. Probably need some more. That's about a tablespoon of butter at this point.
Yeah, just scrape off the top. Because those are going to soak up.
So now I'm gonna. Where are people?
I'm defrosting my beef stock.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just giving my bacon and onions like another minute or so.
Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna start putting my beef into the butter here, and just start searing it on. Just start searing it. I'm gonna do.
You don't do all of it at once. It's like you space it all.
No, what I do is I put in what can fit with some room. So that, you see how there's enough room there? It's not all squished together. Sorry, I just need to get to it. And I happen to use my my tongs just because I like using my tongs. And I sear them on, sear the meat.
I've never really gotten the hang of using tongs in the kitchen. Maybe I need to like get a better pair or something. Do they make non-stick tongs?
Yes, they do. They make all kinds of tongs. I have several of them.
We have a whole jar dedicated to tongs here.
Oh my gosh.
Another jar dedicated to spatulas and another jar dedicated to whisks.
I mean, I expect no less.
Another jar dedicated to whatever these are.
Wooden spoons. Oh,
Wooden
those are,
spoons, and another jar dedicated to things you wipe wipe things down with.
they're spreaders.
I love it.
Those are my baking spatulas.
So I just learned a new thing.
Now,
But apparently, if you add a little bit of water into your bacon as it's cooking, it helps bring like the more fat out, so you render more fat into the pan.
Yes,
So,
the steam's more effective than a dry pan.
so John was saying that if you start with like a 1/4 cup of water in the pan, like with your bacon, then then it can bring more out, so you might get enough to like not have to add any other fat into it.
yeah, that's true. But the butter makes a nice, because we add flour to it and we put it, so we make a hole with it on top of it. So it's nice to have a little more. So I finished searing my first batch of beef, and I'm taking it out. Okay.
Show how one is seared.
They have it turned away.
Here, so
Yeah.
so it's sort of like that on both sides. My pan is my flame is up on high. So here you see I do that. I'm adding just another. I didn't use all of the butter, so I'm adding the rest of the butter now. And now I'm putting in the rest. I don't know, this beef is really in super small pieces. So I have 2 different kinds of beef. This isn't the, so this one I'm piling on a little bit more just because they're smaller pieces.
I have a question maybe for Pookie or John or someone who's done this. So we're lucky to get some really good high quality local pork down here. And I have like a ton of offcuttings of fat from the pork always. So I've been trying to render it into lard, which I've never done before. And I'm having mixed success. Do you guys have a good method for rendering lard?
What is it from?
So this is the thing. Does it need to be a specific kind of fat? Because I've just been cutting it off of like pork chops. Like we have like a huge strip of fat on our pork chops that we get on roasts and stuff as well.
Yeah, you can use that. Usually though, like the lard that you're gonna see is rendered out from either the fat that's like inside the ribs, which is like the leaf lard, or the back fat.
Okay.
So the best way to do it would be to just like chop it up into very small pieces and put it in the oven at like 250 degrees for a few hours. Just in the oven stay hot. That's the way I would do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I
haven't tried in the
I
oven.
usually-
I've tried it like on the stove with some water. And also we have an Instant Pot. So I tried it in the Instant Pot last time and something really weird happened. And I was like, I don't know. It was weird.
yeah, just a low temperature oven, definitely not above 300 degrees, but anywhere from 2 to 275 would be my suggestion. I do that with beef fat all the time. So yeah, I always leave the fat on the pork chops because I really like it. But
Well, and this is like super good fat. It's like delicious.
yeah, it's
But
really
it's
hard
like
and dense.
they give us the cuts these days. It's their skin on, so it even has it's like the
Oh yeah, that's the best.
it is good, and this pork is really yummy.
You
Yeah,
you
like
can roast
pork
it
belly
like
too, which is great.
that. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just like swimming in pork fat, so I.
Yeah, if you ever get like a roast that still has the skin on it, or like a like rib roast almost.
Yeah.
If you leave the skin on it and then just like score it lightly with like a razor blade, and then just rub salt on it and like let it sit in the fridge for a night or two uncovered. You just roast it at like 375 or 400 degrees for a little while until it's how you like in the middle. It'll like puff and pop like popcorn, like the skin, and be really delicious.
That's awesome.
So that's fun.
So, how is everybody on the searing beef part? Is all your beef seared?
Almost.
I'm sort of behind. I have probably another 2 batches of beef to sear, but
Okay.
continue on, and I will, because I know it's just going to sit and it's it's going to sit and simmer for a while. So.
So after all your beef is seared, the stuff that you took out, I put mine in. You put everything back in the pot with the bacon and the onions. Sorry, should have waited. And there should be a little bit of fat down at the bottom. Not a huge amount, but you see how it sizzles? You definitely want some of that because we're going to add flour to it and then cook the flour.
Wait, did you just add flour in?
No, I haven't done that yet.
Let's see how much.
Wow.
All right. You guys ready yet? Okay. So,
3 more minutes for us.
yep. Okay, I'm just going to turn mine off for a few minutes while you guys all. So everybody has beef broth and wine ready because they're coming. We put the flour in and then we'll put in the wine and the beef broth. And then we just let it simmer forever.
Right over here.
So while we're waiting for that, I'm just going to clean up my area so we can start with the pate choux.
Lovey.
So, Mama, we did something a little bit different. We just split because we had a whole chunk, like a beef chuck from that gigantic pile of meat that John got a little while ago.
Yeah.
So we just cut it in half and seared it whole.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna cut it into smaller pieces to put back into the pan with the bacon and.
That's fine. You're just searing it. The reason why I like to have the smaller chunks is that you actually sear it through. Okay. All the smaller thing. I don't know but it's stew meat, so.
Yeah, I always leave it in as big a chunk as possible so that a bunch of water doesn't come pouring out of it.
Yeah, well, I buy ours. I buy ours already cut, and that's where all the water comes from. So that's why you dry it. But no, your system works too.
We also, John, we didn't put the the onions in with the bacon, but we just put the onions and bacon in now together. So all of the liquid from the onions is kind of coming out and helping deglaze the pan a bit from like the onion liquid.
Yum.
Yeah.
So we're doing two slightly different methods, but we're doing the same thing.
Yeah, this just happens to be the method that I know, so but that what John is doing makes sense too. So.
Hey, everybody, I'm headed to the barn now.
All right.
I just wanted to see the beginning,
Hi, Mama.
and I hope to see you next weekend.
All right.
Okay? Have a good week.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So tell me where you guys are at and when we'll be ready.
I'm adding flour.
We're doing flour now.
Okay. Anna, are you?
Sorry, I'm like so behind. I don't know if I have a lot of beef or what. I'm still searing my beef.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
I'm gonna add more fat.
I just upped my heat a little bit, so I'll try to.
No, that's okay. We're okay. Do you have enough fat in there, John?
I just put some more. I put some more bacon fat left over from bacon
fine.
this morning in there.
I'm adding more fat right now just so the flour doesn't bump up.
Right. So.
But I'm looking good. I'm ready to add flour whenever.
Yep. Well, we're just waiting for Anna.
Cool.
Go ahead. If you guys want to just go ahead and I can pay attention and.
All right. Well, I'll show you I'll show you what it looks like.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm waiting for the cameraman. Cameraman is
Oh.
having lunch.
Waiting on everyone.
So.
Here, hold on, do you want to see?
So that's just a mix of your beef and the bacon and the onions, right?
Onion. Yeah, you just add everything back in the pan. I'm actually going to wait a little bit so it comes back up. I had turned mine off.
Okay.
So I'm going to put mine so it's nice and hot. Oh, no, you want to put the beef in. Do you have your beef in, John? John, you have the beef in the. No, because you want it to coat the beef. You want the flour to coat the beef.
Okay. Hang on, I gotta chop it.
So now I'm now adding the flour.
How much flour is it, Pook?
That seems like a lot. I weighed mine out. It's supposed to be for the 700 grams. It's supposed to be 30 grams of flour.
Okay. You need a little more.
So I'm just putting in a little bit more. I think I have like 40 grams.
Okay.
So actually, yeah. So there we go. Yeah. All right. And you'll see it sort of clumps up and absorbs. It gets absorbed, and it sort of sticks to the meat. So you want it to brown a little bit. You want to cook out the flour just a tad. So it's not really white anymore. It looks sort of weird, you know. You have the flour that coats the beef. You see can you see what that looks like?
Yeah.
And then once your flour is cooked out just a little bit, it doesn't need to be very long, just a bit. So this is how it looks. It does stick a little to the pan here and all that kind of stuff, but once you put in the liquids, it sort of deglazes the whole thing, and
Well,
Okay, well, take it.
Throw it on a pan.
You're getting your head tan again.
Yeah.
Where your tan everywhere else, but your head isn't. So it's nice and white. Everything else is sort of red. Yeah. I mean, like up to just around here.
Do we need to record this?
No. Oh, sorry. I forgot. I'm just telling you. There's nobody else saying anything. Sorry. I guess that's why you need to edit things.
We're not editing this.
what did he do?
All
I
right.
can put the lid in, Mama.
All right. So are you guys ready?
Yeah.
So this is what it is. So now now that it's sizzling and all that kind of stuff, I'm just adding the beef broth. Turned it a little low there. And you'll see it starts sort of whitening and thickening and sort of looking sort of weird. Good stuff from the bouillon. And you'll see how thick it starts getting. And now I'm measuring out my wine, and I put in 350 milliliters of beef broth. Now I'm adding the same amount of wine. And see how it's thickening up?
What can I ask? What temperature are you on right now?
Right now mine's on high, and now I'm going to turn it down.
Got it. Okay.
And now I'm adding the wine. And voila.
Water, you said?
No. No water, just wine.
Oh, what did you just say? Didn't you just say water?
No.
Is that
Oh,
I said, sorry, I said voila.
you said water. Like, what?
No. No water. Oh, if you want to add pepper, you can add pepper now. Where's the big, there it is.
We haven't added any salt, right?
No, I don't actually add salt.
Yeah.
Because of the bacon.
Oh, for sure. Okay, that makes sense.
I
But
just seasoned the beef with salt and pepper before searing it, and that was it.
oh, that's fine. I sometimes I think I might have. I can't remember what I do, but I'm gonna add it now. I'm adding pepper now. But you see, this is sort of the consistency that you want. And it will thicken up during the simmering time. And then if it becomes, I check it during you're supposed to let it simmer for 2.5 hours
On the stove?
on the stove. Yep. You also want to add a couple of bay leaves.
Ooh.
So I'm now adding my bay leaves. I'm gonna add 3, I think. Yeah.
We have some. Do you want to put some of the thyme in? We happen to have some fresh thyme, so we're gonna throw some of that in there.
Absolutely. I mean, you can add whatever you want, whatever you want to try. This is just the classic, oops. So there we go. Just remember to take the bay leaves out before eating.
That's a lot. It's a lot of wine, isn't it? It's like half a bottle of wine.
It's about a half a bottle of wine. Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, so now do you cover and simmer, or?
Yep, I'm going to.
Wine soup.
So this is the consistency, just so you can see. Sorry. And now I'm going to. I have a little simmering supposedly thing. So I'm putting the lid on. And I'm moving it back. I'm moving it back here. And I will check on that, and stir it around every, 15, 20 minutes. So stuff doesn't get to make sure that your simmer isn't actually sticking everything to the bottom.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that because my pot has it's one of these thinner type and it sticks.
Yeah, but you'll want to make sure that you go and you turn it, every 10, 15 minutes, depending on how quickly it heats up. It's why I like using a closet, just because it does even it out a little bit.
So because our kitchen is so tiny, we're covering it with foil and throwing it in the oven
That's
at like 200, 300.
That'll work.
Because we're trying to get our stove. We're trying to clean the kitchen at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of counterproductive to be cooking and cleaning at the same time, but
Yeah, no, that works. I mean, it's just you want it to cook low and slow, and putting it in the oven is probably a great way to do it too, So that's an option too.
dude, cannot do this.
And that's it. That is Boeuf Bourguignon. And again, as John and Charlotte said, you can add, I would say, you can probably add fresh thyme or rosemary is probably good too. I happen to have a lot of bay leaves because I bought a huge bag of Menzies. So I use them. I use it to flavor lentils and stew and soups. And I happen to like the sort of subtle taste of bay leaves.
What do we?
Yeah, we put some bay leaf in there too. So
Somewhat.
we put bay leaf in there too.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think fresh thyme would be very nice too. Any of the woody ones, thyme or rosemary or, should be fine.
Also throw like a couple cloves of garlic or a head of garlic in there to simmer with it too, and that would be pretty tasty.
I mean, again, it's your taste and all that kind of stuff. So, you have the basics and then you flavor it however, with whatever you have and how you want it, what you like. So It's really personal preferences. And you make it this way once, and then you say, oh, garlic would be really nice, or thyme would be really nice, or so. I just haven't thought about it. It's one of those things I've been making for a long time, and I just continue to make it. You froze, Charlotte.
For a second.
So I just sort of continue making it the way I do. I guess the other thing to think about is to serve it. I usually make mashed potatoes, just because mashed potatoes are Ken's favorite. But Mama used to serve it with egg noodles, like the big, really broad egg noodles.
That's what I'm gonna do.
So you can do that, just sort of a starch that will pick up the sauce. But I mean, if you don't want that, you can also just, it's a stew, so you can, you could eat it as is, too. But I'm planning on serving mashed potatoes and green beans with it.
Yum.
A whole bunch of green beans.
What do people think about adding dried herbs versus fresh herbs? Because I always use them interchangeably, even though I know I probably shouldn't.
You just need to be careful, I think, about, well, first of all, whether your dried herbs still taste good, number one. Number two, usually you have to use less of the dried than you do of the, and the other thing is that if you put fresh herbs in, they usually are still on the stick, especially the woody ones. They're easy to fish out, and you don't have them floating in the, But again, it's personal preference, and you have to experiment. You now have the basics. Once you have the basics, then you can, like Charlotte and John were doing, they have the time, they decided to add garlic. You can do all those things, I wouldn't crush the garlic. I would do like what they did and just put whole cloves in, more so you just render the taste and you're not adding sort of the whole stuff. It tastes different when you're.
I think with the dried herbs, for something like a stew, it's fine to just throw dried, dried whatever right in there, because it'll be just it's not a big deal to eat dried herbs.
Right.
Cooks down a little bit.
Yeah, I think soup is an appropriate venue to sub out fresh herbs with dried herbs without any consequence.
I like that.
Yeah.
No consequence dried herb.
Yeah. So do we all have our stuff simmering?
Yes.
Everybody's on simmer. Okay. Are we ready to move on to the pate de choux?
Yes.
I'm ready, but I gotta go.
Is Adam joining you for the pate de choux part or not?
I'm hoping that he will. He's doing some housework today, so I have to catch him at the right time.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go check.
What you can do is you can get all the ingredients that you need. So we need a cup of water, a stick of unsalted butter, some salt, and a cup and a quarter of all-purpose flour, and 4 large eggs.
4 eggs?
4 eggs.
Okay, and this is the same, so if I made half of a pate à choux recipe, if I made half of the creme pâtissière recipe, I should do half of this, right?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna do that as well.
Yeah, well, I made the whole creme, so I'm doing that. So I'm making a whole thing.
We're just trying to ration.
Sorry, what?
Trying to ration our eggs.
Oh. Have you guys had problems finding ingredients?
No, but we're just trying to limit the amount of times that we have to go out. So we just eat a lot of eggs as like our meals, so just trying to. Well, I guess we do have 4 eggs to spare, but I guess I only made.
So Adam can come and join in about 5 minutes when he's done painting something. So in that time, I'll assemble our ingredients. Does that sound okay?
That sounds great. Take your time. If you guys have a stand mixer, you want to get that out. Just because you have to, once the pate choux, once you finish cooking it on the stove and then you let it cool, you then put it into a stand mixer bowl and you mix it for a good 2 minutes. I don't know if you want to do that by hand, but I pulled some kind of muscle on my elbow yesterday while raking. I don't know what I did. I think I held it incorrectly, you know, and I did some weird thing, so it just hurts. And I just know that if I do that for usually if it says 2 minutes by this, it's going to be a good 4 minutes by hand. So I'm just not doing it by hand. And they recommend doing it with the stand mixer. So I love my stand mixer.
Did you guys get yours as a wedding gift, Pook?
Yes, I think, was it a wedding gift or yes, we got it for our wedding. And I have had this one forever, but I also have another one. Kent got me the professional size, the one that actually has a stand lift. It's just really big. So I really should use it for Christmas baking. And I just in general forget to take it out and just do it in here, but I really should take it out to do the baking that I do during Christmas, which I should do more often. So.
Sorry, Mama, can you tell me the proportions again?
So I'm giving you the full portions.
Yeah.
It's a cup of water, 8 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 3/8 of a teaspoon of salt, a cup and a quarter of all-purpose flour, and 4 large eggs. And if you ever want to look up the recipe, it's under King Arthur flour and just look up cream puffs and eclairs.
Okay.
And it also gives you the link to the pastry cream that we made.
I lied, I do actually have 4 eggs to spare, so.
Okay. You might also, here's the thing, Shash. If you want to cook your choux, you need your oven.
We have 2 ovens.
Oh, that's right.
What? You guys have 2 ovens in your tiny apartment?
We have our fancy, tiny science oven, which is like a slightly than larger toaster oven. Like, it's a big toaster oven, but it like bakes and air fries and like does all this stuff. It's a new addition to our appliances. And then we have our actual food.
I love that idea.
It's great. Like, it's so great, especially because we don't have AC. When it starts to get like really warm in the summer, we don't have to like, I don't know. It fits an entire muffin pan. Like, here, let me show you.
Yeah, let's see it.
It doesn't fit a whole sheet though.
No, it fits.
A half sheet.
It fits like a quarter sheet.
A quarter sheet. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the brand?
The Breville Smart Oven, and there's like a couple of different versions. We got the one that has like an air fry, like super convection setting, which actually, now that we're gonna do this, I'm gonna switch our stew to the other oven because I want to use the convection bake for.
Alrighty, so tell me when you guys are ready.
We need another minute or 2.
I want to hear that.
Yeah, the reason I was curious about that oven, Josh, is because Adam has been like, we need a toaster oven
No, but
thing.
I
This
want
is
like
like
a nice one.
This is okay.
Look
Wait,
for
let me
used
show
or
you.
refurbished.
Let me show you, Adam, because this is like really cool. Because can you turn? Yeah. So we're gonna turn it off because we're gonna take the stuff out. But like, it's got oh no, it's not. You can't see. Hang on. Let me use my phone.
But it's like a 20 amp circuit. It requires a 20 amp plug, right?
No, just plugs into a normal.
Nice.
Normal plug.
It doesn't consume as much power as you would think.
Can you see that?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, because don't you use it as a dehydrator too?
Yeah.
Wow.
The proof setting is really nice for doing like yeasted doughs. If your kitchen tends to like run colder in the wintertime, like ours does,
Mhm.
that way like you don't have to wait 4 times the amount of time, and it's like an actual temperature you can control.
pizza.
The air fryer is basically just a turbo convection. It's like nothing special, but it's great for reheating things that you want to stay crispy.
Yeah.
I don't really use all the settings, but the dehydrate is really good. Like this works great for me to like do like sourdough projects, which like this 86 degrees is the lowest dehydrate setting.
Hmm.
And the timer, like I can go up to 12 hours on it if I want.
Oh, cool.
Where the proof setting only has like a 2-hour max on the timer. So as long as like you can turn the fan on different settings too. So as long as you turn the fan off for like dehydrate, it's not actually dehydrating. You kind of like learn the functions. Like it's a lot more versatile and flexible than like the specific settings would have you believe.
Right.
You learn what each setting does, like you'll kind of figure out what works good for you.
It's cool because it also has like 2 timers, so you can do like 2 phases. So you can like cook it at like 300 degrees or whatever for like whatever, like an hour, and then it can change to like turn it down to like 200 degrees for like another hour or something. Like you can do
the
like
potatoes
2
last week, we did that.
like phases. It's very smart.
It shuts off when it's not automatically.
Like, it's cheaper to run.
Yeah, basically.
Sorry, say that again.
It's probably cheaper to run as well.
Oh yeah, it's way more efficient. Just in terms of power consumption, and like you're not heating up a huge chamber just to, bake a half a dozen cookies or something.
Yeah, and it's really great because it bakes really evenly because it is a convection oven. So I don't know what oven you guys have at like your house, but we have like, just a standard gas oven in a very old apartment. Yeah, so it's like great because we really like, since we got it, we've just used like mostly this. The only time we've been using the oven is when John's doing big batches of sourdough and needs just more space. But other than that, like we can cook basically everything that we need to bake like in this oven.
Like
it's like big, yeah, like a whole chicken.
I'm talking about.
Like you can like our Dutch oven like fits in here. It's just like the handle of the lid is too big, so we just cover it with foil and it's fine.
Got it.
But can you toast it? No, just kidding.
You can toast, and it senses how dark your toast is getting and like will adjust the time appropriately so you get the right darkness of toast. So cool.
What
Yeah,
about,
like if you-
what about the pizza setting? This might sell me.
I don't like it. It's for frozen pizza.
Yeah.
Frozen pizza.
It's good for frozen pizza, but if you're like making pizza with like yeasted dough from scratch at home, you're way better off like cranking up your big oven and doing that for a night. Unless
Our oven is like just so bad. It's like I can't ever make pizza without smoking out the house.
yeah, I would totally do like pan pizza in the small oven. But like when I do like pizza, I like New York style pizza, and it's kind of crazy. Like this is the setup for that, and so
I think we're ready to get back to this, so the recording isn't too.
Sorry. Okay.
Are we ready?
No.
The pizza stone?
I've been getting my ingredients ready while we're chatting, so we're nearly We're nearly
Alright, so what we need again, it's really simple. It doesn't take long. So a cup of water, a stick of butter, unsalted butter, some salt, a cup and a quarter of all-purpose flour. So this is what you need at first, okay? We'll use the eggs afterwards. So you put your water in a pan. Water in a pan, then the stick of butter in the water.
So here's your water.
Okay.
How big of a pan do we need?
One that's what is this? I don't know. Can you see the size of this?
Yeah.
The stick of butter, it sort of floats in the middle. I mean, it's not a huge pan. It's a medium.
4 or 5 quart.
Yeah, a medium-sized pan. Then add the salt, depending on how much flour you're using. Adjust the salt. For a cup of water of flour.
John,
3.
help!
What?
The pots are sliding. Help! Oh wait, I got it.
We're having an emergency. All right, so I'm adding the salt. And then then we're gonna bring everything that's in the pan to a rolling boil.
So this is the salt, butter, and water.
Yep.
I got it.
Preheat now that we've discussed ovens, preheat whatever oven you have to 425.
Four 425, you said?
Yep, 425.
Hey, Josh, you might want to disconnect your phone from the Zoom session or use it, whichever you want to do. But it looks like it's connected, but not doing anything. There you go.
No, she turned
So
it.
wait, can you put the butter and the water in the pan and bring both of those things to a boil?
Yep, and add a little salt depending on how much yep. You bring it to a boil. A rolling boil.
What else am I gonna do?
Well, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna get out my my baking sheets, that's all.
Is there anything else that I need to like be prepared to do quickly?
You need, well, you'll need 4 eggs, but we break them and we put them in one at a time.
Okay.
So, the other thing is that we were gonna make zucchini mush. Are we still doing that too?
I have zucchinis. I'd like to do it, but
Okay.
I have a sense of how to do it.
Yeah, well, I can do it. I'm planning on having that for dinner anyway, so we're,
Yeah, let's do it.
so lock up to a rolling boil. I'm gonna stir it, but my butter isn't melted yet, so I'm gonna let it continue to boil.
Too small.
Melt it down.
Yep, so mine's to a boiling point, to a rolling boil. I'm turning it off. I'm taking it off the heat just because I prefer to do it here. Or is this better? Is it better over here light-wise, Kent? Okay, so, and then once this is hot and you've brought it to a boil, you put all of your flour in all at once and you stir really hard.
With a whisk or with like a.
You put your flour in all at once and then you just stir.
So you wait until your butter's all melted?
Yep, it's melted and you bring everything to a rolling boil. And now you see how and you stir it and you stir it and you see how it's coming together?
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna put it back on the heat and you're gonna cook the flour out a little bit. So you put it back on the heat. And you cook it, and they say until it follows it around, it follows the spoon around. But I cook it for a little while longer because you want to make sure that you get the sort of floury taste out. So.
So cool. I always want to know how to do this.
You want it all to come together sort of as a ball. All right, and voila.
You turned off your heat.
I turned off my heat, and you see how it becomes a nice sort of ball and it all hold together? And I am going to take its temperature. It needs to cool down after this to under 125. And now it's up to 174. So I'm gonna I'm gonna take it off the heat just because and I'm gonna let it cool for a little bit. So it's just gonna sit here and cool, and they say it takes about 5 to 10 minutes. So while we're doing that, while we're waiting for this to cool, once you guys are there, I'm just going to clean up a little bit, and I'm gonna peel my zucchini.
Okay, good idea.
So when you put it back on the heat, do you put it on low?
No, I put it on medium and just really, you just want to make sure that it follows the spoon around, you know? It sort of stays as a big lump, you know? And while you're turning it, it goes with the spoon. You don't cook it for very long, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 3. So I'm letting that cool. And I'm gonna peel my zucchini. So I have 3 zucchinis because I usually do like a zucchini per person, and it also gives you leftovers. So Juju is gonna be home tonight, so
Is he on the clip?
Yes, she is. She went to write.
Oh, that's a good inspiring spot to do that.
So I just rinse. Sorry. Get my peeler. There. All right. So when I peel my zucchini, I don't completely peel it. I do it in stripes. Sorry. So I leave some skin, but not a huge amount of skin. But again, that could be personal preference, but I don't like a huge amount of skin in my zucchini mush. Makes it too green.
So it should be in like a ball.
Yep.
Does this look?
Let me see.
Josh, you're always like 5 minutes behind.
Let me see. Move it around. Does it follow your spatula?
Yeah.
Yep. Then you're fine. That's where it is now. Just let it cool.
I'm sorry. This is a complicated task, Father.
And also, I was the one who was behind at the beginning.
Yeah.
You landed on, shush.
Just observing.
All right.
Look at these little tiny zucchinis that I found. This is all I could find.
That's fine. That's fine. Those aren't tiny.
They're so tiny.
They're a little tiny.
Well, I mean, look.
They're cute.
It's about the size of my hand. You know, massive zucchinis are not good zucchinis. You know, the ones that are like 5 pounds, they don't taste like anything. They're just water. So you want the smaller zucchini.
Oh man, I just looked at that lid of that book and it smells so good.
What a beautiful thing to cook.
So I learned, because we made a lot of dumplings a while ago, that the way you make dumpling dough is like you pour hot water into like the flour mix as it's mixing in a food processor. At least that's how we make it, and it basically like cooks the dough. So this is like really similar. I mean, obviously there's butter in it, but it's like similar to how you make like dumpling dough for like.
That is so cool.
Yeah. For my birthday, John made a dim sum feast, so we made like 100-something dumplings.
Oh my god, that is a labor of love right there.
Yeah, it really was.
Did you guys steam them or fry them, or how did you cook them?
Some were steamed, some were fried. There's kind of a variety. It was nice.
So good.
All right.
I'm not making any mush because I don't have any cheese.
Oh,
I don't have enough cheese to.
okay. Well, I'll show you what it. It's you know the basics, Shelly.
I do. I've made it before.
You've made it before, so you sort of know. So I'm just checking with an instant thermometer. The dough needs to be under 125, lower than 125. Right now, mine is at 58 or something like that. So,
On this.
no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually transfer my dough to my, to the bowl of my stand mixer. It's still a little too hot, so I'm just putting it there. Just putting it in my stand mixer.
What attachment are you using?
And I'm just waiting for it to cool to under 125. So while doing that, I'm going to actually clean my pan, because this is the pan I'm going to use to make my zucchini mush too.
Oh, perfect. what are you guys eating tonight if we're all eating our boeuf tomorrow?
We have some trout.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yesterday, John went foraging for morels.
Yes, I saw those. Those look beautiful.
Yeah, so we ate some trout with morels and asparagus and scamps last night. So we're gonna eat it again, basically. Yeah.
Okay, have you been, check your stew and make sure that you can, that you are unsticking it. If it sticks a little bit. So this is what it looks like. And your beef should be, you know, like melting. And it just smells good. So that's mine.
Love it. Here, I'll show Art.
Okay.
Is this supposed to like smell a little flowery?
What?
It's supposed to like smell a little flowery.
Your dough. Yeah, a little bit.
Because I just like kind of smooth it out to cool a little bit faster. It looks, well, that's what, never mind. I guess you can't see it.
No, it should be fine.
Like very buttery.
So Anna, if you while we're waiting, we can do some of the zucchini mush.
Oh yeah, okay.
So have you peeled?
The zucchinis are ready. They're peeled.
All right. So I just cut them into chunks. You know, I don't know what's that, an inch, 2 inch, an inch and a half.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just chunks.
I did mine like.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it just takes a little while longer to cook. That's all. And then I fill it so it covers the zucchini with water. They float a little. And then you just boil them. Put it on high. I happen to have a power boil, so I don't really know if it makes that much of a difference, but
It's just
Power
like
boil.
11 on an amplifier.
yeah. So,
Okay, mine are on the stove also, getting ready to boil.
okay. Oh, then, and then we can finish it afterwards, just while it's boiling, and then I'll show you how to add the cheese so it doesn't become like cement. That's the biggest problem.
That's where it went wrong with Juliet and I, where it turned out more like an adhesive.
Oh no. Wait, what did you guys do to it, Kent?
We somehow messed up the cheese addition part, and it didn't seem like it should have been that hard, but then it came out inedible. It came out like mastic, like something you used to put tiles on the wall with.
My dough is still really warm, so.
Yeah, ours is too. I've been checking it, but I just did that trick that Shash was showing about spreading it out.
Yeah, I was gonna try the same thing. So And then all we'll do after this, we'll add the whole eggs one at a time. And then once the fourth egg is added, or the last egg, whatever it is, we beat it for about 2 minutes.
Okay.
With the whisk attachment or the paddle?
The paddle attachment. Paddle attachment.
Paddle attachment.
Since I'm making eclair, I'm not going to make the choux. I have a pastry bag with a let me show you.
You want to know what's nice is that I have my granny's one of those that my mom just bought us.
Oh, great. So yeah, you can use that one. I use a not just a flat one, not a crinkled one. If you have one, I just think it's a little bit smoother, but it makes it pretty. It doesn't matter.
It'll just have little spikes on
Right.
it.
It'll have, yeah, that's all. So that's what I'm using. The size of this one I think is a 1A. Yeah, it's a Wilton 1A. So I'm just.
How would I put this in the pastry bag?
Yeah.
Do you do I like stick it through like that?
Yeah, you stick it through. Yeah, keep on going.
Okay.
So you have, yeah, and it'll stop at one, there. It doesn't go all, you don't want it to go all the way through. There you go. I happen to be using a plastic one, so I'm going to cut off the tip. You don't have to do that since yours is already.
Almost ready.
How long will the choux pastry cook in the oven?
Let me see. Let's see. You bake it for 15 minutes at the 425, and then you reduce it, and you actually bake it for another 25 minutes at 350. Try not to open the doors during cooking, but if you do, just make sure that you close it really, really slowly, and it usually doesn't screw things up too much.
I'm so bad about that. Even if I know that I shouldn't open the oven doors, I always do.
Well, if you do open it, the only thing you really need to make sure, if you don't want to close it really fast. So if you open it, just open it and close it really, really slowly, so you don't have this big whoosh of air. At least that's what I've learned, and it hasn't screwed things up too much.
I would say you probably want to open it slowly too.
Well, yeah, if you could. Yeah.
That's a good tip. Oh, okay. I think our mix might be getting there. It's 122.
Okay. 117.
All right. Well, if yours is ready, then you can start adding an egg one at a time.
I think mine is ready. Wait, we add it one at a time, like
one egg at a time, and one egg at a time with the paddle. Oh, you guys also have less amount. No, with the paddle attachment, you put it in.
Oh.
You guys are probably ready. I made a full recipe. You guys made a half, right?
I think it'll still work.
Yeah,
I made a.
but mine is still hot. That's why.
Oh, got it.
So I just have more mats.
Now, if you're making eclairs, Pook, do you make like a little chocolate ganache to go on top?
I did, but I really didn't like the one I ate the last time because it's not, you know, in the French pastries, it's more of a sugary icing. There's in France, it's more like it's not just chocolate. It's more like a confectioner sugar glaze in general. So I don't know. I mean, yes.
Is medium okay?
Medium.
How speed?
Yes, that's fine. It might look like it's curdled. That's okay. Just keep going. When you add your last egg, it should look smooth. If it starts and it looks like it's curdled, just keep on going. Add your eggs, and then it should come to a smooth thing. Mine is still like way too hot, so. Nope. All right. Mine's okay. I'm gonna start.
Luke, I have a quick question about the zucchinis.
Yeah.
Do you salt your water for that?
I usually don't because I use sharp cheddar cheese and I find that that's enough salt. But again, it's a matter of taste.
Do we want to stop when it's smooth?
Luke, the shoot for the pastry,
Yep.
we just stop when it's smooth.
Yep. And then once it's smooth, beat it for another 2 minutes. Just keep on going.
So when we do pipe it, they should look like smaller than you would think, right? Because they puff up like quite a bit.
You pipe them to about, they'll puff up more than they go. If you're making eclair, they puff up. They don't necessarily puff the long way. So you can make them as long as you want them, but they go up. So they might look a little flat.
Okay.
I still have another minute to go on my, But then the zucchini looked like this. The zucchini, you just wanted to, a knife doesn't go through it, so. It's not cooked yet.
Do we need to do anything to prep our pan that we're gonna bake them on? Like, do you put parchment or anything?
Sorry, I didn't hear that question.
Okay. Do we need to do anything to prep the pan that we're gonna bake them on?
If you don't have a silpat, then butter it and cover it with parchment.
Okay.
Yep, parchment. Just you butter it so that the parchment actually sticks to the pan. All right, so here's the dough. It sort of looks gooey but nice and smooth.
It's really not sweet at all. So this dough is really not sweet at all.
No, the sweetness comes from the interior. It's a shell. It's not really, that's not where the sweetness comes from. It's a very plain dough. And you can add, I used to make these things called curry puffs. You make this and you add curry to it and you just pipe them and you bake them. And they're these little curry puffs that you could just like eat by the handful. They're great. And all it is you add like, I don't know, I can't remember what it was, but you know, curry to taste. Just, and you add it you add it with the eggs, you know, and just.
Sounds really good.
So, yeah, I mean, Pate Choux doesn't have much taste at all.
Okay, so now are we putting it in our bags?
Yep. I have a smaller bag. You might have a bigger pastry bag. Mine's pretty small. So I only sort of fill it halfway. You might want, oh, here. Just move things a little bit here. Move this out of the way. You will want a little thing of water that you'll dip your fingers in so you can smooth down the edges. You'll see. So
The edges of
the little peaks that you'll have when you put in when you make your eclair. So I'm starting to pipe. Should I wait?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, you've made these before, right, Josh?
Yeah.
So you pipe it, and then you bring it back on it, and you just sort of lift it up. And this is where when you dip your finger in a little bit of water, and then you just smooth this down. Okay. But you don't want it too wet. They say about 5 inches. I don't know. That looks.
When I did this, it looks like a little finger. Looks like a little fingernail at the end. Look.
Hey.
Yep, there you go. And that's why you take your finger with a little bit of water and you just smooth it down.
Oh my God, it's so creepy.
How long should these be?
They say 5 inches. So hold on. This is why you always have Yeah, so that one's a little bit, that's probably, this one's a little short. I'm gonna try to make them. Try to make this one a little bit thicker, but I'm not very good at piping, so.
Oh, that's not true.
No, it is true. I just don't do it often enough, you know.
It's kind of satisfying.
Yeah.
This
when
one,
you get it right.
okay, that one just, well, the other problem I have is that I can't do things straight. I can't cut in a straight line. I can't pipe in a straight line.
This reminds me a lot of doing caulking in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. Transferable skills.
All right, so I need to refill mine.
Wow, I should have done a half batch because this is a massive amount of Choux.
You can, they dry out and you can leave them, you can put them in a container and they'll last for a while.
All right, I'm gonna throw this in as a test batch. How long?
15 minutes at 425, then you turn it down to 350 for 25 minutes.
You got your double timer ready.
Yeah, seriously. All right, so.
I like this little paper.
You can also make choux, so you can make them round if you want to.
Oh no. I know what's in my future. I'll tell you what.
You're gonna
Funny.
what? Just because
Oh my
it's not
God.
straight doesn't mean it's not gonna be good. All right. You can hit the end.
Oh.
That was a little sad.
Our last ones are a little bit creative here, but
Oh man, that smells good.
That's a mess. Okay, that's like,
but should we put this right in the oven?
yep. Okay, that one's just messy.
And you said 15 minutes, Pook, right, for the first?
15 minutes at 425, yeah.
And then
And then you turn it down to 350 for 25 minutes.
Oh no.
Right?
Oh my God, guys, I have to show you this. So I made waffles this morning. This is not the first time this has happened. I keep them warm in the oven,
Yeah.
and then I forget.
Yep.
Anybody want so bad. Look at this.
Before
Oh wow.
I try meringues.
Oh no. That's a crispy waffle.
Oh, I'm just checking on my zucchini. The knife only goes halfway through, so they're not cooked yet.
So, Anna, this is going to be news to you.
Outside, hold on.
Oh, okay.
Adam told me I had to take the waffle outside because it was too offensive.
Fair. So I have taken responsibility of a old like lot that has been used for farming for the past 10 years. So it's like the size of like an entire house. It's like a lot, which I am now farming for this season, which is very exciting.
That is so cool.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's like, I don't even know. It's like almost 4,000 square feet.
Wait, I didn't tell you guys, Kyron is staying with us. Come say hi quickly.
How's the process going?
We're good. We got the Claire's in the oven, beef working on the stove, and this is a zucchini thing. Okay, so sorry, tell me again.
It's like 4,000 square feet of like growing space. Yeah, it's insane. So me and my neighbor are farming half of it to like grow food for like the neighborhood since, food is gonna disappear soon. So like being
Is it
proactive.
close to you?
Hmm?
Is it close to you? Is it in your neighborhood?
Yeah, it's like around the corner, so I can like walk there.
Amazing.
Yeah. However, I was out there planting some stuff yesterday, and I thought I was being smart because I was like wearing my flannel and my like farmer clothes and whatever. However, I had rolled my sleeves and didn't put sunscreen on. So I don't know if you can tell.
Oh my God, Charlotte.
I can't tell. But it's like farmer tan.
Because I was wearing gloves and then I rolled my sleeves, so it's literally just my forearms and they are on fire.
Oh, Sean, no.
They hurt so bad.
Oh no, you poor thing. That's a part of the body to have hurt because it's like use that part of your arm.
So dumb.
Aww. You won't make
That just looks like a caterpillar.
That sounds like such a fun project though. So are you guys having to like build beds and stuff, or is it all wow?
Yeah, I mean it's all in the ground because there was a guy in the neighborhood who had been farming it as like a market garden for the past 10 years, but he has another lot somewhere else in the city that's like a better growing space, and he's like,
Yeah.
I don't have enough time to do both spaces this year, so I'm just gonna like let it go. But then our neighbor, who's like, our neighbor is our landlord, and she like has lived here for a while, and she like saw him and was like, no, like we can grow food because like people are gonna need food soon, but like they don't have any like gardening knowledge. So she was like, do you want to like do this? And I'm like, sure, because when the summer comes around, when things are gonna be really busy, I'm not gonna have a job. So I'm like, I may as well farm and grow food for everyone.
Yeah, you're amazing.
That's just a mess.
Yeah.
That is so cool, Shash. Well, so are you gonna go like every day? It sounds like a lot of work.
Uh-huh.
Farmer Shash.
Honestly, like the biggest part is kind of done because like the soil was like ready, and the guys basically just been, the biggest concern is like the cost of like making it happen, honestly. But like I already have a lot of seeds, and I get seeds and seedlings for free for like this membership that I have with an organization around here. And so everything was basically taken care of. Like he had tilled the soil already, and like he had been adding compost for like the decade that he had been using it. So like it's pretty decent, and like I don't really need to do much besides like plant it and take care of it. So in like the grand scheme of things, it's like not that bad because I'm not like starting from scratch, but it's still a lot of work.
Oh my God. Not art. But it's gonna be awesome and fun as long as you remember to cover your arms.
Yeah, I know. I have learned my lesson. This always happens. It like happens in like right in the beginning of the spring, and then I learn my lesson for the rest of the summer.
Never.
Yeah.
Well,
But
so let me ask you,
If your stew is on the stove, stir it a little bit so it doesn't get stuck at the bottom. Mine.
yeah.
Alrighty. Hey, Anna,
Yeah.
how are your zucchini?
Sorry, I just burned myself, but I'm okay.
Okay.
They're good. They're boiling away. I guess we should check on them.
So, can your knife go through them?
Hold on a second. They're starting to sputter.
they look like Cheetos. My little like things look like Cheeto Puffs.
Okay.
My zucchini are getting pretty close.
Okay.
How are yours? Are yours done?
No, I actually turned it off and I'm letting them cook a little bit longer in the hot water. They're almost there, but you know, I don't want to overboil them. So sometimes I just turn it off and let them sit in the hot water for 3 or 4 minutes. And then we're just going to drain them. I drain them in a colander. So while we're doing that, while we're waiting for that, I'm getting out my cheddar cheese.
Hold on just a second.
Yep.
Oh no. Do you have any advice on how to make the round puffs?
Yeah, what you want to do is that you push them, you start and then you slowly pull up. So you start and you make it until it's as big as you want, and then you start pulling it up slowly, and then stop the pressure and then pull it up, and then pat the little peak down with water.
Okay, because I made witch hats.
Yeah, you want it to be a little more even, so you just need, so
Let me try.
push and then slowly pull up. Well, it's sort of like, and you're sort of
there you go.
pulling it in. You see? Does that make more sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna drain my zucchinis now.
Yeah, so no, that's good, Shelly. And yeah, yep. Yeah, I'm gonna drain mine too.
Oh, hold on, I
No,
gotta-
Kent's got soap in the colander, so I'm gonna wait. But while he's doing that, I'm just gonna grate some cheese. Who's the one who doesn't have a box cutter? Anna, is that you?
Box grater.
Box grater. I said cutter, right? Different.
I have a box grater.
You do? Okay.
So how much cheese do you usually do?
I eyeball it. I don't know. It depends on how cheesy you like it, but you don't want too much cheese because then that's when it becomes
Adhesive.
Yeah, because you basically have cheese and water as opposed to cheese, zucchini. So, I don't know.
It matters.
It does matter. I don't know. I have like a handful. See, Anna, I have like a handful of loosely grated cheddar. But I'll show you what it needs to look like, you know, in the pan, because you actually want to keep some of the water, and I'll show you how to.
Oh, okay.
So the trick is can I drain? I just sort of, you know, and then I put it back in the pan. You drain them and then you put them back in the pan, and it's okay to have some water in it. And then get out a potato masher, whatever. This is my favorite potato masher.
Let's see. My mom just got me one that is sort of funny looking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are, give it a try. I have seen those. See how it works. I just happen to like the waffle one, and then you just mash them. But you'll see there's a lot of water that comes out when you mash them. That's okay because we're gonna add butter to it and then we're gonna boil it off a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Mama,
Yes, Jay?
my eclairs are already starting to like brown a little bit, but it hasn't been the full 15 minutes yet.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Mine aren't browning yet, so yeah, I mean, you want it to puff. I think what you want it to do is that you want them to puff up. The first 15 minutes is all about the puffing. Once you think that they're puffed up enough, then you turn it down. I think that's what it is.
Okay. And what do we turn it down to again?
350.
Okay.
So I still have 2 minutes on mine. My oven also happens to be a lot cooler. So for the 3 zucchini, Anna,
Yeah.
I put in about a tablespoon of butter. So, you know.
Okay.
So I'm putting.
Oh, just one tablespoon for all of them?
Well, for 3 of them, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then I turn it on again on high, and then I bring it all to a boil and let the butter melt. So it's a little liquidy type of looking stuff like this. There isn't, check to see that there isn't a huge amount of water, but a little bit of water is fine. Do you see that consistency, Anna?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, hold on. So mine just went for the 15 minutes. I'm putting it to, no, wait a minute, hold on. So clear it, bake, 350, start, and yeah. All right, so this is now boiling away. I'm gonna turn this down. Turn it down to low, just so it's not boiling too much. And you just add your cheese. So I'm gonna add the cheese.
Once the butter is sort of melted and
When the butter is all melted and it's come back to a little bit of a boil and you've boiled, depending on how much water there is in it, how much it retained, because sometimes some of the zucchini don't have as much as water as other ones. And then you just mix everything around. And let's see.
ooh, yeah.
And then you just sort of stir it around and you'll see the cheese will melt and there you go. You now have zucchini mush. And it looks a little liquidy. That's fine. It'll congeal again. But you really don't want to add too much more too much more cheese because then literally it becomes.
I think that's what Juliet and I did wrong. We put in more cheese because it was too liquidy and we cooked it too long.
Yeah, and then it just all,
And it's
yeah.
stuck.
See, so there we go. That's zucchini mush.
Yay! So excited to eat this.
So, I'm gonna turn that off. I'm just gonna leave it in the pan because we're gonna have this buffalo chicken and leftover gratin
Oh, that sounds so good.
for dinner. We're gonna grill some buffalo chicken that I get at Wilson's Farm.
Oh my god.
That's what we're gonna have for dinner. Oh, and I might make some tomato and mozzarella because I bought.
Nice.
So.
Oh, but look, I have this I knew I was gonna get that going, but I gotta wait till the oven's free.
So, Shash, gardening question for you. Should I be moving our seedlings out to the garden now?
It's past your last frost date, right?
I think May 15th.
Okay, I would wait because I don't know about you guys, but we're supposed to get like a cold week, like this week.
Okay.
So I would just wait until that cold front passes because then it should be like a little bit warmer.
Okay.
But if you want to start, once that happens, you'd have to harden them off. So basically putting them outside for a couple hours a day, gradually increasing the hours, like putting them outside and then bringing them back in.
Yeah.
And so they acclimated to the new temperature.
Yeah.
And leave them outside overnight one night, and then you can plant them. So it usually takes like a couple of days, like maybe 4 days to harden them off. So if you just do that after your frost date, you should be good to go.
Okay.
So how long do we keep, once we've reduced the temperature to 350, how long are the eclairs supposed to stay in?
25 minutes.
35?
25. 2 5.
Sorry. Thank you. Okay. So at 1.
So I'm actually going to turn off my beef at this point and just let it sit because mine's boiling up it's boiling too fast. So I'm just gonna let it sit and simmer in its own juices until it's nice and cool and I can I just lost my train of thought. And I can put them into containers to put in the refrigerator. If you have the room, you can put your whole pot in, but I don't have enough room and there's not enough. There's not that much stew compared to the size of the pan. So there we go. I'm waiting. So the other thing to do with your choux, once they're cooked, so this is going to take a while. You take once the 25 minutes are done, you take your pan out, and then you put a small slit in the top to let out the air. To let out the hot air, so you don't trap all that steam in the choux and it gets soggy. So if you do that and then you put them and you return them to the oven, for 5 minutes, it allows the steam to come out and it dries out also the interior so you don't have super soggy things. That's the worst part about the choux stuff is that if you let it sit with the steam in it, it becomes soggy inside. So if you do that, and it just needs to be a little slit. It doesn't need to be, doesn't need to be huge, but a little slit. And you could also probably do it on the side.
Just somewhere on it?
Yeah, somewhere on it so you let out the steam.
Okay.
and then you let them cool, and then you take your crème pâte, you know, and you fill them up.
How do you fill them? Do you use like a?
Again, I use my pastry bag, and I just put in, and you slice the eclair. I slice them in two.
Okay.
And there is another way you can do it, but I don't have the special attachment for it. You can also make just 2 holes at the bottom and fill them up that way. I just find that to be able to pipe them in, you need to have sort of a small sort of funnely type looking tip, and I don't have one of those, so I prefer just splitting it and just putting it on. I find it easier, you know, but
Okay.
you can experiment. But
Sandwich, like cut it and then put like a
yeah,
bead.
yeah, as much as you, I would try not to overfill it, but it's really your personal preference about how much crème pâte you want to put in it. And then you serve them. You can, I was able to keep, I only filled up the ones that I knew we were going to eat on a sort of daily basis. So I didn't fill everything the first day. But if you dry them out, they actually stay, and if it's not super warm and all that kind of stuff, then they stay pretty crisp and okay. But you have to be careful because the crème pâte is, you know, it's full of milk and eggs and all that kind of stuff, so you don't want it to curdle and go bad if you're not. So I would highly recommend that you only fill what you're going to eat, and then and you can cut them and prepare them all and leave them in a nice dry you know, Tupperware or something, just on the counter, and then you can keep your crème pâte in your pastry bag in the refrigerator, and then when you're ready, just, you know, fill up 2 of them or 3 of them or how many you're going to eat, and do that. If you want, I would experiment. You can make just a chocolate ganache is what they recommend, which is, you know, cream and chocolate. You know, I didn't like it that way. So I'm thinking of trying to make something with confectioner sugar and some cocoa powder, and then some heavy cream, and just sort of diluting that and see what that looks like.
Ooh, cute. That looks like a mini baguette.
Is it all cooked?
I think so. I'm about to find out.
Well,
So let's see how you're gonna do your little cut.
That's how I did my little cut.
oh, okay.
Okay.
All right, so you can cut those. Are they nice golden brown? It's a little hard to tell.
Yeah, they're golden brown and they sound hollow.
Good. Well, then you're probably fine.
Wow.
There you go.
Thanks, Pooh. Great.
So, I think that's the show. That's the show for today.
Show for today.
You know.
Thank you, Pooh. This is great.
You're very welcome. So, have you guys thought about anything else that you want to do? Do you want? Oh, sorry. Do you want to do something next weekend, or what's the scoop?
Well, I'm always open to doing this if other people are, but I don't want to like.
No, I mean, just tell me. Do you have any ideas of what you want to make?
Well, we had talked about maybe that yogurt cake.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I would like to know how to make that. Yeah, but for savory, gosh, what else to make? Well, do you have any ideas, Pook?
Well, I'm just planning on making a chou for us.
Yes, that would be good.
Yeah.
You want to make a chou so I should, okay, well, we can wait until we can do next weekend, or I don't know. Do you guys? Do you
Special
want-
Mother's Day edition.
Yeah.
All the children can.
Oh, okay.
We
Yeah.
cook.
There's-
Take a dig.
All right. So hold on 1 second. I'm going to stop the recording since we're basically done with this
Yeah.
this part, and we can keep talking.
Okay. Thank you, Kent.
You're welcome.